Hello, welcome to the Lord of the. Oh, sorry. Welcome to Comic Book Wars. We're episode 47. Great podcast, obviously. I'm Jimmy Linguini of comicbookspeculation.com. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves? We can do it clockwise. We can do it counterclockwise. However you guys want to do it.
This is Sleepy John. Today is National Beer Day. I would suggest everybody grab one and open it. Maybe put it on pause and drink two before you watch the rest. Nico, wake up. Okay, well, Nico's here as well. So I guess we'll just go ahead and get into it then.
Is he here or did he freeze?
I think he's here.
No, I think he froze. I think he. I think.
Yeah, definitely froze.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
Nico's here too. Half frozen. Are you there, Nico? I don't know, man. This happens every time. That's funny. We reset. We made him. He reset like 3 times before we started, which makes it really funny.
They got to
Nico's
put
here, obviously.
2 more pieces of string on the tin cans down there to get the internet working for Nico. Unfortunately, they're working on it though.
No, he looks fine in the preview. Okay, let's see if we can go because he looks.
Did. He looked good.
No. I'm saying right now he looks fine. Let's see if it. Let's see if it works now. And we're also joined by.
Speculation.com. Yeah, I don't think it's working.
No, it kind of is. Kind of. Here, one more time. And we're also joined by. No, he went off. Okay, well, we're also joined by Nico from ComicSpeculation.com. I was thinking, like, no. I was thinking for a solid hour. Remember, we got to work on the intro.
Yeah.
We got to work on the intro. But
I think we nailed it. She gave the shout out to Beer Day. Oh, that was in the U.S. Maybe it's not Beer Day there. Okay, I understand why you're upset now. So what do we got on the deck first up?
Hey, did you see that like there seems to be a big video of Ezra
Miller
that's floating around of him choking somebody. Now I don't have. I wish Nico was here. It says he's not here. Rats! I wish he was here because he's the one who was sending the video, right?
Yeah, I saw it from him.
So, what do you think of this video?
I think you had put a little description when we started talking about it. I think it's probably just like taken out of context, but I think you might be right in that. Sometimes this happens with celebrities. The camera's always on them, and then they're put in a situation where they may not be in the best mood to screw around with, and I think that's what happened. So I don't think it was malicious, but
if you don't know what we're talking about, a video leaked earlier this week. I think it was today or yesterday of Ezra. I think it was today, right? Ezra Miller,
who is known
chokes
for
a girl, and then she pulls her onto the ground.
Known for?
Being the Flash in the DC comic universe, right?
Right.
I think that's all he's known for, right?
Yeah.
But,
so this woman walks up and says like, "Oh, I want to fight you," just like joking.
Well, yeah.
around.
So apparently, like from what I read from the backstory, is apparently this girl came up to him and said, "I'm I bet I could beat you up." And then he says, "Oh, really?" And then he chokes her, and apparently, like he started spitting at her and spitting at the people who pulled her off. I don't know. That's what I read. I don't know how accurate that is. But he's also wearing sandals, and the video takes place in Iceland, so there's snow.
He looks kind of like looks to
weird.
me like Tom Huddleston Loki. Like he had a cape on, like a Loki cape, and he had the long hair. It was kind of weird. I don't know. So he must be known for something else because. What was he in? Justice League as Flash? Is that
he was in Justice League as Flash, and then he was in.
It's not the Flash from the CW show,
right?
From the movie Flash.
He was also in some prison movie that I think sucked, and I know he has a rock band.
Oh, I remember. I think it was called "The Day the Soap Slipped."
He's in that Harry Potter movie, not like the one that
Radcliffe?
No, the
one?
ones that take place after that have Johnny Depp. You know
What?
what I'm talking about?
No. Oh, Pirates of the Caribbean.
No, there's a new universe of Harry Potter movies that came out. It's like I don't remember what it's called. It takes place like I think maybe it's in the past, and it has like Dumbledore as like a child, not a child, but he's like a teenager wizard or
No,
something. And
I don't
Johnny
believe that's
Depp's in
true.
it, and Ezra Miller's Fantastic Beast is what it's called. TJ Timebomb in the chat told me.
I don't think that has to do with Harry Potter, though, does it?
Yeah, it. What?
I don't
Yeah,
think
it
so.
does.
Oh, I could be wrong. I never knew that. If that's the case, I'm not big Potterhead. Is that what you're called?
Oh, that's what I'm
You're
called.
well, no, you're a pothead. I think the other ones I was talking about Potterhead. Is
Oh,
that the same thing? No.
I mean, you never know. I'm just debating if I should phone Nico and bring him in that way. At least that way he can introduce himself.
Oh, like it's like the one interview he had. Bring him in by phone.
Oh, that one interview he had was so bad. It wasn't his fault. It's because the guy he interviewed
Wasn't his
sucked.
fault. Wasn't his fault.
I
Actually, you
think
know
it's
what?
we're talking
That's
about. It was the Mikey Sutton one, right? That's the one we're talking about.
well, yeah. But
I just wanted to make
uh,
sure that nobody else thought I
being in
was.
the real world now, I'm dealing with that as well with the situations that we're on with not meeting in person and people doing meetings over phone and through Zoom and whatnot. It's funny to see how people really are prepared for things like this. And the podcast skills come in handy sometimes. If you haven't done a podcast, maybe you should try it so that you're ready for when you have to do video time. Well,
Yeah, I
at any
agree.
rate, Jimmy, should we
Video time is all that I'm worried about. You know what I mean?
talk about the speaking of current
Well, you can.
situation we're in?
Well, so what do you mean? I'm listening. Go on.
Um, just meaning with COVID-19 on the international scale, we had MCU movies get rearranged this last week because of it. Release dates, basically everything jumped back one spot at this point. Was there anything else you wanted to add on that?
You came up with this really snazzy graphic, which I thought was pretty
Yeah,
swell.
took a little while to put together. I thought it came out fairly well. Now that I'm looking at it, though, it seems a little off center.
I'm not really looking
But
forward to any of these movies, but honestly, I thought Black Widow already was released. Um,
so
so
that was one movie we talked about. Also, I guess we'll mention Wonder Woman was talked about being just thrown onto digital. DC or Warner Brothers, I guess, came out this week and said we've seen some people talking about just that we're going to put it on digital. First of all, that's totally not going to happen. So they are going to still release it in the theaters. They just pushed it back, and I can't remember when. Did we talk about it last week? Even I think they pushed back till November. But
yeah, we
Marvel,
talked about one. Yeah, I think we talked about Wonder Woman like for the last 3 weeks.
yeah.
I feel like we talked about it because we
So
had a big argument about New
basically,
Mutants too, right? And I also noticed New Mutants isn't on this list.
well, New Mutants is not part of Marvel Studios.
Okay.
Neither is Spider-Man, so those would not be on the Marvel Studios schedule. Now, when Marvel did their release of all the time slots last year or whatever, all the dates, it seemed like they did have some of those incorporated in there, like Spider-Man. They just didn't name it specifically because we know that Sony and Marvel agreed to things and they didn't. Then they agreed back to them. So just staying with the properties that Marvel owns, Black Widow took the Eternal spot. So Black Widow will be coming out in November. It was originally scheduled for May, I believe. So
So
everything got pushed back one time slot.
does this mean that like we're
Not
thinking
everything.
that this stuff isn't going to be over until November?
I think that means
Because I also
they
noticed
already had that.
The
Well,
Masters was
they,
pushed back, right, till
yeah.
October. Is that really when everything's going to be back to normal? I mean, is this our new normal?
I think
Because
what
right now
in
things
terms of
suck.
like when they schedule these movies, like look at how the things line up vertically. So vertically, all these are the first two are November, the second two are February, the third two are May, and then you have Captain Marvel 2, which is July, and then there's no date for Blade. So in terms of Marvel movies, these are blockbuster movies that every other movie schedules around because they know they'll get ratings for these. They'll get people coming to the theaters for these. So it's kind of interesting to look at these. Black Widow was supposed to originally be May. So we can see from this, May and November and February, they have targeted as huge months that they can dominate in terms of box office. And then Captain Marvel 2 being in July, right around July 4, is not really a big surprise. I guess Blade, we can say maybe November of 2022 would be when that would come out. I think that in terms of the Marvel movies, yeah, just like that's why they're on this schedule. They already have these dates filled out, so they just pushed everything back. I would say in terms of new normal, I don't know. They already did, like, in terms of what you said about golf, they already canceled, I think, the British Open. I don't know. There's no good barometer on when this will be.
And that's outside. Like, you're 6 feet away from everyone.
Yeah, golf is a little. I think people are a little perturbed by it, but it's good to be safe than sorry. That, golf is. You're talking to your caddy, and then they could play without any spectators easily. You got a cameraman that's 20 feet away. There's no distance issues.
Yeah. Well, even if they had spectators, I mean, there's barely anybody ever there at those things.
Oh, there's people there.
Yeah, no, they're usually pretty crowded. I don't know. But it's not good. Things aren't. Are you still going to the post office and doing that kind of stuff?
I
Still
am.
making sales?
I am. I'm very low on sales. Obviously, I think everybody's kind of seeing that. What I'm seeing, honestly, is the low dollar sales are still hitting. And when I say low, I mean, like, if you can sell something $20 or less, you might still be having some sales. And then I'm seeing the high end people come in where they're thinking, people need money. I have extra cash that I can expend right now, so I can buy a high dollar book. So I'm seeing them between the low end and the real high end. I'm not seeing the middle stuff moving. Books that are 50 to 500, let's say. I don't think those are good books right now. I think it's people either with no money that still want to buy, or people with deep wallets. What do you think, Jimmy?
I've still been selling some books, but I don't know. There seems to be more sales and like other stuff. Like I've been selling more like DVDs and VHSs and toys and stuff. So,
DVDs, like, they got to be real hot right now. I mean, I bought some DVDs just because I want to watch like old TV shows that aren't on streaming channels.
Yeah, I mean, last week, what was it? I sold every copy of the James Bond movie. Like, I had every James Bond movie on DVD. I sold that, and like all the Soprano episodes. So, I mean, people are buying the stuff, but I don't know. I think sales have been up for me at least. So, I think it all just depends on
what you have to sell. I think people still have some money. I don't think, like I said, I don't think people are willing to shell out for big money items with unknown ahead. I think we'll get through it. It's just.
I know Nico's been saying that he thinks these stimulus packages might be pushing people towards buying bigger books with that money.
I think it will. It's just dumb to do that.
You think that people who get that money aren't going to be using it as expenses, and you think that people actually are going to use it as extra money?
I mean, there's still some people working, and the people that aren't, hopefully they're being reimbursed somehow in the U.S. at least for. I don't know what Canada's doing, but in the U.S. they've put out a lot of unemployment assistance for people pretty quickly, a lot faster than it would be during normal times. So I think people are still getting money and they're figuring out how to get by. I think entertainment is a thing that's down. So people aren't going out to eat. People aren't going to the bar. People aren't, going out shopping for clothes. People aren't going to the movies, obviously. So there's still some money for collectibles.
Yeah, I heard AMC might be going out of business. AMC Theater.
They just got a big. I saw a thing. What was it? 2 days ago, that they got. What day is today? Tuesday? Maybe it was yesterday. Their stock went up because they were talking about maybe being open by June.
But how?
I guess that's when they're assuming they'll be able to be open. So
Are they
their
going to
stock
like put
price
everybody
went
in their
up.
own personal bubble?
That's the thing. China tried to open their movie theaters, and they were open for like a week, and then they had to shut them back down again because they opened them too early.
Well,
And yeah,
wasn't it
you're
because
right.
then like a bunch of people came back and they brought it back, so they had a second wave of the virus or something?
Uh, I
I
don't
don't know,
know. The
man.
information is real skeptical on it in terms of what's actually getting out to the public and not. So
But
let's move on to some better news.
well, so I guess the big thing this week was Frank Gogol, who Nico did an interview with a week or two ago. He has a new book, No Heroin,
Yeah.
and he offered a limited to 25 copy variant on his own. So this is for his independent book. They were what, $20 a piece, and they sold out immediately, and now they're selling for about $100. I think there were 2 sales so far
Yeah.
on eBay. So
He he knows what he's doing in terms of marketing to the speculator crowd, and I hope he's making some money off of this stuff because there's no reason he shouldn't be. If Marvel can learn to watch the market like they do and play up to all the ratio variants and stuff that they do, the independent guys should be killing it because Marvel, it would take a lot longer to move. Guys like Frank, they can kind of move on their feet, make their own decisions, and get stuff out quicker. So I'm happy to see that, there's some interest in his books, and hopefully he's making some money too.
yeah, I saw that there's a peach momoko variant for this book as well. That's
Yeah,
I guess people are doing pre-sales for. I think the book comes out in like 5 weeks, so it seems a little early to be doing pre-sales. But people, I mean,
yeah.
there's not a lot
Sell it
else to
if you
be.
got it, I guess. The question I have is the conversation prior is like, why are people buying
Hey,
$100 store variants?
is doing the peach. What's his name? For Hive Mind? For Hive Mind?
Am I wrong? Did he just come in? Wait, first of all,
He'll be on Nico time. Yeah, he'll be on Nico time. That'll be Saturday.
I thought you already didn't. Wait, what happened?
The guy that's doing the Peach Momoko variant is going to be on Nico time.
Who's the store?
No, he's not really a store. He's a guy.
Okay. Wait, but he's not Peach Momoko, right?
No, she's in China.
Okay, cool. Because no, I saw a few like stores put it out being like, oh yes, this is our variant cover. I was like, what the heck? I already saw this weeks ago. This isn't your variant cover. But I don't know. I have a variant cover too that's on the way.
Yeah. Well, do we have a picture of your variant cover?
No, the book doesn't come out for 5 weeks. I'm not going to tell anybody to work on it now. I mean,
what if I want to see it?
You're not alone there, but it's not like I'm not going to find out for 5 weeks. So, I mean, I got time. Who knows? But my point is, I have one too coming in. I think it's.
I'm trying to get a copy
there, so who knows? I wish your
Callahan variant. What's wrong with it now?
Well, I mean, why is it that like when you do interviews, like it always works properly? Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Well, as always, we're joined by Nico of Nico Time of comicbookspeculation.com. That's his introduction. I'll just give it for the 4th time without him being here when he's still kind of here. So, I mean, that's cool. What else do we have going on, though? I hope the next thing isn't Nico Time. Oh, we're on Market Watch.
Yeah, we got Market Watch.
You have anything else you wanted to add, Nico? Okay, cool. I'm okay with that. Oh yeah, have you seen these? So we talked about this. We talked about this last week, I think. Maybe 2 weeks ago. What do you mean?
2 weeks ago. We
talked
about the
Marvel announced
Warriors
this new.
Look how good my stuff is.
What do you mean?
You're good.
I'm well connected.
Yeah.
Okay, so Marvel announced this new Warriors series. This is what, like their 5th time rebooting this? Maybe 10th time?
No.
And,
Let me.
And this one has like a bunch of new characters. They're all like stupid characters, like Safe Space, and they're all like troll characters that Marvel seems to be pushing out for their haters. I don't know.
Wow.
It's weird, but anyways,
You're
the
not
one on the
being
left.
very receptive to what the audience.
Listen, I'm going to
wants.
buy them. I don't care. And the book is sold out. The one on the left is the 1 in 50 variant. The one on the right is the 1 in 100 hidden gem variant. Both of these books are selling very well on the secondary market. The 1 in 50 has a few sales at $80, and the 1 in 100 has some sales at 180, 140.
Who's the artist?
and
Like Mark
130.
Bagley or something?
We got Mark Bagley on one, and the other one is Hidden Gems. It's some kind of I'm not sure exactly who it is on the second one.
They look good.
Not
is
really.
The one in, is the
I
one
mean,
in
I don't
50
like
the
Newart.
Bagley?
Yeah, the 1 in 50 is Bagley, and then the
Yeah.
1 in 100 on the right. I'm not sure who that is.
That makes
Can we?
sense.
So we agree that Mark Bagley was the original J. Scott Campbell. After looking at that,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that was my original thought. But yeah,
He did it well.
I mean,
Those
J.
Mary
Scott
Jane
Campbell
books
gets.
got it done for him.
he did it well. They're all just floating in air. I don't like
Yeah,
it.
it looks like a J. Scott Campbell. The one on the right is obviously a design variant, which is I don't know who the actual creators are of New Warriors, but yeah, like TJ Tombaum. So this is the old New Warriors. This isn't the current team with all the new members. We'll just say that. When does this come out? A couple weeks or something?
Well, it's supposed to come out in like a month or this month, but who knows?
So we don't know
Diamond,
how they're going to release things. Yeah.
No, but it is sold out. So I mean,
Okay.
there will be a second print, I guess, if that's your thing. But
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, it was supposed to come out on the 15th. That's what, next week? So
Correct. Yep.
it's not happening. This is the longest we've gone without new comic books. In what?
Yep.
I mean, even in World War II, we had comic books.
Yeah.
So that's just something to keep in mind. That we're in a very bizarre
place we've
place
never
right
been
now.
before. Which I guess
okay.
is why older books are still selling. Okay, what next? What?
We're on the Market Watch. You ready for Market Watch?
Yeah, you just did one. This is
Did we-
another Market Watch.
Oh.
Market Watch continues. Woo-tang!
Oh, Comic Hub.
Have you guys been following the Comic Hub nonsense? Well, is it really nonsense? But have you guys been following?
Yes.
Do you guys know what Comic Hub is?
I didn't know what it was until about a month ago.
Yeah, so Comic Hub, if you don't know, is a way that you can do an online virtual pull list for your comic book store.
So you go through this website and then order the books through the website, and then you pick them up at your local shop.
Yeah, you
Why
just
wouldn't you just call your shop up?
exactly, or why wouldn't you just email them and have a pull list with them? I guess it's just so you can see images and it makes it easier and it's more of a streamlined thing. And Diamond's been trying to push it. So I know
does
when
Diamond own Comic Hub?
I believe it's part of their distribution system. I know when it was originally launched, that was the original thought was, why are we doing this? If like, why are we letting all of our customers give all of their personal information and all of their their information to Diamond or this other website so that they can try to middleman? But what if they no longer need you and they just cut you out?
Absolutely.
At some point, right? So, but that's when I first heard about this. I think 2 or 3 years ago. But what was the stuff that happened this week with this?
So last week, Comic Hub was trying to push that they would, correct me if I'm wrong here, you could order the physical copy through their web portal, through their website, and then they would be able to release the digital copy to you to read. I believe that was the setup that they were trying to go for.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I read online was mostly because the common comic book person doesn't know about this really. So everything I read was mostly from dealers saying that this is bad because they take a chunk of the dealers' profits.
Yep.
And it was, obviously they were against it. So they tried to roll it out last week, I think, or maybe it was even 2 weeks ago when they started floating it out there. And then in the past week, they said, never mind, we're not going to do it.
Well, I think what happened was DC and Marvel both said that they're not going to release their digital books.
Right? How did I describe it?
last week.
I know how you're going to describe it now, very choppily.
Ugh.
Oh no, there you're good. Okay, yeah,
How'd you
yeah, go on.
describe it, Nico? Was it last week
It was
we were
like,
talking about it?
yeah,
Oh,
it was like,
in your weekly. Oh my god, I did laugh at it. Nico sent me a preview of his weekly update last week before it went live, and I read it and I told him I laughed out loud at it.
yeah, I called it. It was like burned before takeoff.
Yeah, airplane caught on fire and burned before it took off. Yeah, they got a little bit ahead of themselves, and
No shot.
I honestly blame Bleeding Cool a little bit for putting it out there so heavily, because they published an article that said, "Is this the new savior of comic book shops or comics or something?" And obviously, Bleeding Cool does everything with the intent of getting clicks only. They're not trying to be true to us comic fans, and that's why I refer to them as Bleeding Stool a lot, as do other people. And you know, they just went down in a heap of flames real quick. So, you know, it is what it is. So
That's
at this point, we don't have anybody releasing digital comics, like you said, except some people are. We talked about this last week. Some of the independents are giving some money back to comic shops if they sell their books through their online stores, which is awesome. Black Mask was doing it, Scout, and who else? One other company. I'm sorry, I forget who else was doing it. One of the other independents was doing it. And then, Nico, you had a good point this week. The creators of Ice Cream Man, the Image comic, came out and said they were going to release digital shorts online to help
that was
comic
me.
shops.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, they're
I'm sorry,
releasing
go ahead.
look at his face. He's like, I didn't say that. No,
Oh.
every 2 weeks they're releasing some kind of new digital comic book.
Yeah.
Online.
So, have you guys ever
My
read Ice
response was
Cream
like,
Man?
what is that?
Have either of you read Ice Cream Man?
No.
I mean, I have an issue 1. I know it's being
I sold them all, thank God. That was back when I used to list books. But what the hell? How does that help shop?
Yeah, releasing stuff digitally without any
I don't understand.
any price does not help shops. I guess maybe somebody could say, "Oh, I read this digitally. I want to go buy it," but I don't think they've even said that what they're releasing is. I don't think they've even said what they're releasing is a previously released issue, so it's a little odd. So the way that Ice Cream Man is set up is each issue is an independent story, but there is one overarching character, which is the Ice Cream Man. And I'm not a big fan of it personally. I know some people that liked it a lot. It's kind of like Twilight Zone, you know, where you have one narrator more or less. But
how about if you gave them a code?
Yeah,
provide free content to people that purchase books from them online during the
Yeah.
era or something. I mean, that would help a retailer.
Yeah, this podcast
But
is going
giving
great.
shit away for free doesn't help anybody.
No,
I don't know. I don't know what their end goal is. I think maybe it could be just
to get their name out there.
Well, I think it's just to please readers, and I mean maybe it's to get more people into Ice Cream Man, and then at the end of the day, it will get more people to buy the trade from their local comic book store. I don't know.
It's like trickle down economics for comics.
I've been meaning to write a post about it. I've been meaning to write posts about lots of things, and I've just been delayed. So maybe
if you read Ice Cream Man once,
we'll see.
If you read each issue one time, you're like, okay, I've read that one. I don't need to ever read it again. That's my personal opinion on it. It's an interesting story. It would make a great TV show for a series like Twilight Zone, but I never need to go back and read it again.
Oh,
yeah. Well, take that and put it in your ice cream cone.
Back to Market Watch. I like this graphic. I don't know why. I'm a loser. You sent this to me earlier this week. So the Rift has finally premiered on Amazon or something. Who cares?
It's on Apple TV. Yeah, this is one issue of
what's Apple TV?
Steven Spielberg's Amazing Stories on Apple TV. Amazing Stories. Yeah. It's we talked about it a while ago. It's all one-off episodes. Spielberg did this way back in the day, this Amazing Story series. redoing it. He's not the director or anything. He's just the producer of it. And The Rift was one of the shows that they chose to adapt for the series. So The Rift was 4 or 5 issues, I believe, from Red 5 Comics. But they adapted into a one show episode. So in terms of Market Watch, there's been some copies selling, which this book is always sold every once in a while. Nothing's flying off the charts because I don't think it has any relation to comic readers, or if people just randomly watch the show, they're going to say, no, I want to go pick up that comic book. They probably don't even know it's a comic. It's my guess.
Yeah, now James Hake indicated that they're going to select one episode and give it its own show.
Wait, but how would he know?
Does he have one selected?
Well, I think that was this of the different episodes. I think that's what he said.
This is Red 5, right? Yeah. And James Hake is Scout Comics?
No, but he's saying, James just said the same thing, basically, that each episode is a different story, and that's it. It's just one. Again, it's like the same idea as Twilight Zone. It's a one-off. There's no continuation. Now, I think they did say, well, they didn't say, but I know people that have read the comic said, I wouldn't mind seeing the next episode of it or something, meaning you could make more from it. I don't know. I have no interest in the comic myself. I think there's other stuff to read, but I don't know anything about it as well. Oh. So I could be wrong. All right, moving on. We wanted to
you guys ready for... What do you want to talk about?
Whatever's up next.
Were you guys ready for Nico time?
Yeah. The moment of truth. Will my internet hold out?
Well, I mean, we could always just skip ahead of it if worst case scenario, and then we can.
Let's fucking hope not. All right.
Well, I'm just saying we can go back. So I'm going to start it. Here we go. Dude, hello.
Oh,
I'm here.
Okay, I just put a picture of Nico the unicorn.
No,
I need somebody to acknowledge the unicorn picture.
You went silent for a second.
Yeah, because I need somebody to acknowledge the Nico unicorn, whatever.
On TV. First and foremost, out of the box, All American Comics, number 89. This is a CGC 3.0 copy. We saw a 3.5 move in March for $800. There's only 26 copies on the census. The first appearance of the Golden Age Harlequin, arguably more than a proverbial inspiration for Harley Quinn, the beloved cartoon hero. Jimmy, thoughts?
I have thoughts. I mean, it's okay. It's not really a book that I'm after, but it's interesting. It's interesting that nobody really talks about this, but I guess it's not really the first appearance of Harley Quinn, right? It's Harlequin, right? So
Harlequin. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I like it. I think it's cool. I think it's one to pay attention for. On to the next one. We've got Detective Comics number 225, the first appearance of the Martian Manhunter. There's 234 blue labels on the census. This raw copy was advertised as a 6.5, although, call me critical, I think they may have overgraded the book. Jimmy, thoughts?
I like how you just keep coming back to me. This is the first time you've ever done that. I don't have any thoughts. But
okay, John, is that a fucking 6.5? Or is this a bad joke?
I mean, I think they took a Dremel around the corners, but other than that, it might be okay.
Okay, it's definitely not a 6.5. I don't think, but it's whatever. A CGC 5.0 sold in April for $3,360. So apparently no one else must have thought this was a 6.5 either. It's still a super cool book. I mean, my goodness. And for those who are really into all of the TV movie spec stuff, it looks to us like the Martian Manhunter is probably going to get an HBO show, or at least that's something that they've floated around with some level of credibility.
Yeah.
On to the next one.
Oh,
Detective Comics
old
number
school.
2.
Old school tech.
Wow. Yeah, number 2. That's absolutely gorgeous. There are a mere 15 copies of this book, blue label on the census. It's absolutely beautiful. There was a .5 incomplete that sold in June of 2019 for $2,650. To give people kind of an indication of how infrequent it is to see this book come to market, and just how coveted it is by collectors.
But let me ask you this: if it didn't have the Tech Comics trade dress on it, would anybody care about it? I mean, to the point where people would pay thousands of dollars for it.
No, of course not. No, of course not. But it's the second DC book ever published.
Well, what's the second Marvel comic ever published?
Marvel Comics number 2.
Right? What's the cover look like?
But is it though? Is it?
I don't know.
Is it the second book published? Like they didn't publish more than they only. You're saying they just
only
published
publishing
Detective
one a
Comics? They didn't publish anything else?
I don't know, honestly.
I feel like I feel like they would have had more than just Detective Comics when they did the launch out, but I don't know.
I'm not good at
What do I know?
stuff like that myself.
Although you're right, DC is based on Detective Comics, right?
Okay,
That is what DC stands for, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe. Oh god!
I mean, we're asking some good questions today. We're some good experts going on.
I'm trying to help here, but people keep telling me I'm nuts. It's okay. I'm happy to be here.
Ask me about moderns. I could probably help you on that.
Oh, fuck. I'm just happy to be here. It took a long time to get
Coppers, bronze, maybe.
All right. I think this is a cool book. Unseen number 9. I rarely see it come up. I don't think I've seen a copy in the last year and a half, but I haven't looked real hard.
It's been unseen to you.
I like how hopefully Jimmy is on the computer right now and he's going to get answers for us. He might just be scarfing. I can see him down there below. But anyway, Unseen number 2. Super cool. 17 blue labels. A 3.5 sold for $382 recently. I think this was a super cool move. I can't. Yeah, I want to say the 3.5 was in January of 2019, but I didn't write it down, and my memory is not the greatest. Next.
Thank you, Gary, for understanding my unseen joke. Got no traction.
It was a good one. It was a good one. Beware, number 6. This is a 6.5 in November of last year, sold for $3,120. There's only 28 blue labels. It's certainly one of the premier zombie books. Some would argue it is the premier zombie book. I like a couple other ones better, but who am I to judge? What do you think, John?
I mean,
at least Jimmy's laughing at me down there. That makes me happy.
Decent cover. I don't know. What would you say is a premier zombie book?
I like.
Are we going from that age?
Yeah, as far as like Golden Age zombie covers, I like the Tomb of Terror book that we saw last week, and I like another one that we're going to see that just sold a matter of a few hours ago, Menace number 9, which I think is gorgy for real. And then, of course, there's the other one we saw last week, which was the first zombie book. So Menace number 9, only 23 blue labels. There's a little bit of sales data on this. I think it's interesting to see that how stagnant the price is, but how cheap somebody scored a 6.5. So in August of last year, a 6.5 sold for a mere $900. You compare that to a June of 2017 sale of a 7.0, and it was $1,315. Now, why the big disparity in price? Because the highest graded is an 8.0. There's only 2 copies in 8.0 condition. There are 0 copies in 7.5 condition, and only 1 7.0. So we think this is a resale, although I did not have time to check the CGC certifications. I don't know if I could pull that off, but maybe. I've got my ways. Do I have anything else?
I think Jimmy's making
peanut butter and banana sandwiches.
No, he's making those snow cutouts where when you string it out, you hang it up, and they're all the same.
All right. All right. Was it as good for you as it was for me?
I mean, it was okay the whole time. The one thing I
Thanks,
got to
Jimmy.
ask
Thanks
you,
for your
Nico,
support. Yes, sir.
what do you think? What do you think the difference between a zombie cover and an undead cover is?
Ooh.
And the reason I ask this is because
Ooh.
do you think zombies were a thing during Golden Age books, or is that more of a kind of a bronze, copper, and then even more modern Walking Dead type of thing?
It's very interesting. Yeah. I don't know. That's
I think they used to be
a
called the
metaphysical
undead.
question. Yeah.
They used to just be called the undead.
Right.
Know?
Yeah. Yeah. The real metaphysical.
But you know a lot of those covers better than me. Was there like somewhere where it says zombie? I don't know.
I don't think so.
No, I
Okay,
don't think
well,
I don't
think
think
about
zombie
that. We'll think
appeared
about that and
until
come back next week.
George
With our
Romero?
favorite,
yeah, I
with
think
our
it was the
favorite
George
zombie
Romero
covers.
films where it really
Oh.
happened, and I think it might have happened
What?
as well,
Side
perhaps in some
podcast? Okay,
fanzines.
good idea, John.
But
Right
yeah,
after
you
the
should.
one that's already
I
lined
agree.
up
We
that-
should do a side
that
podcast
Jimmy
about that,
isn't
but I don't
doing.
want to be involved if that's cool. What else we got going on?
Jesus!
What? I don't like doing
Speaking
side. I
of,
got all
we
these people
didn't
saying like,
mention
"Oh,
the top 100 that dropped.
Wow,
oh,
dude.
shoot, that's right. I got.
Sick!
Yeah, his mic like isn't working, but it's got. I think his
Whose?
earpiece needs to come down. What do you
Whose
think?
isn't working? Is it
Bring in the
me?
earpiece.
Hello? Am I not working?
Oh man,
It's a Jimmy time!
Yeah,
Maybe
oh,
I don't
hello?
know.
Hello?
Can nobody hear me?
No.
I can hear you. John just can't hear you for some reason.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. See, that's the you guys are
I'll come back.
very frustrating with your nonsense.
John's.
But you reminded me. Yeah, I got to remember that
Goodbye.
I
He'll be
gotta
back.
finish editing the top 100 last video because we apparently
Yeah,
have that.
it was amazing. I was really excited.
But yeah, we
I
did
like
what
being part of it.
we released another one of those, so that was pretty cool. And yeah, that's something to check out, I guess.
He's back.
Yeah.
Back in a New York groove.
Hello.
Yeah, that song sucks though. Remember when Kiss went all disco? That was
Yeah, it was awesome.
I mean, it's an okay song, but I mean, it's kind of shit when you compare it to other Kiss songs, I guess. And also, Paul Stanley sucks now.
So did we talk about the new top 100 video? We didn't.
No, we just did, and it reminded me that I had to edit the last one because the last one's coming up, hopefully on Friday.
No, it's live.
So,
Live?
what do you mean?
We'll release it. What? Oh, you mean you don't do that live? Sounds like you guys do it live.
Okay, you guys are being weird, but it might be on Friday. Hopefully, I get my shit together and we see what happens. But yeah,
We already got the next one set up too, and then
I want to know what you do in a day.
Zombie checklist.
yeah, I think it's a lot of like just getting overwhelmed by things and being like, I'm not going to do that, and then I just don't do anything because I just overwhelm
Seems like
myself. Yeah.
We need
Yeah,
to
like
get you on
today's-
a regimen.
Today I bought 300 VHSs for 30 bucks.
300?
300. No, it gets better. I picked out maybe 50 that I kept, and within like having them for an hour, I put them on Kijiji for free and got rid of all the ones I didn't want. So I got rid of them.
Somebody
turning
came and
bird.
picked them up already?
Somebody came and picked them up. Yeah, in quarantine.
What the
So it
fuck is
worked
a
out.
Kijiji for free?
What do you mean? You know, Kijiji is like
is
Craigslist, except yeah, it's like Craigslist, except. And I just said free,
Wait.
come pick it up. And hey,
No, I didn't know about that.
Wait, though, did
I got Speed 2.
Did you give them to your butler to give to the person, or did you deliver
That's a
them?
good
Yeah,
question.
you guys are being very rude. I put it all
Good
on.
question.
I put it all on Twitter, but you can see my 4 boxes of amazing VHSs. But you know where we're at right
Dude,
now?
I picture Jimmy's butler as wearing a tuxedo and a gas mask during the COVID-19 epidemic. And he just comes downstairs and it's like, Master, I've got 300 DVDs for you, or VHSs for you, and gives them to him. That's how I imagine it.
Unfortunately, they're all Stormy Daniels VHSs.
I'm sure there'd be money in those.
So anyway,
But yeah, we're moving on to
GPA watch.
GPA for CGC Comics Watch.
yeah.
Yes.
Let's do that. I don't have much this week. Just a couple real quick ones. Moon Knight number 8 sold for $800.
That's bananas.
I think these Moon Knight covers, nobody's sleeping on these anymore because. So there's been 3 sales since 2019. 2019 is when we know Moon Knight started getting heavily rumored and then was confirmed for a TV show. So since 2019, they've all been 800 to 810, which was 3 sales. The previous sale before that, this is what is going to blow your mind, is 2008. It was $38. There's only 9 on the census in 9.8. Could you imagine buying this for $38 in 2008? Like,
Not for long.
yeah, I
Not
finally
for long.
got that.
There'd be
I
mass
finally got that
submitting.
Moon Knight #8, the one I've been
Well-
wanting. That means nothing really, but I got it in 9.8, and then
That's why I
you
really
sit
like
on it.
when you look it up. There's the CGC 10.0 copy of Captain Canuck #1. It sold
Of
for
course, you would know that.
it sold for $17
Oh my
I think
gosh!
in 2004, and it sold for $10,000. I think like 2 or 3 years ago.
No way, somebody bought that.
Look it up
You know
on
who bought
GPA.
it? No,
Look
but
it
do you
up
know
on
who bought
GPA.
it?
Jim Comics
No.
bought it with all the money.
It was
he
an
made.
it was an eBay sale, and it said completed, and I've never seen the book again.
I'm just saying, we've talked about
By that, Jimmy
a couple
means I
weeks
sold
ago.
it for $10K. And
No,
couple
I mean,
weeks
I have
ago,
I have a
yeah.
lot of raw copies, but I don't think they are even. I don't think they're doing 10.0s on those. If they are, I'm sure I have a chance. But anyways, what's the other book on? I mean, I like this book. It's a nice black cover, has a solid
It is,
Sankovic
but
cover.
the cover isn't that great, honestly. There's
I
a lot of
disagree.
other ones.
I
don't
like
know
this.
if
I like
is-
this white. Maybe it's just me. I like these splashes that Sankovic does. With it's just weird, and then there's a random wolf for no reason. I like it.
Are you sure this is Sinkovic's cover?
No, I'm not. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I am. It says right there, Bill, and then
Okay.
he signed his name all weird here because it's a weird cover. I don't know. I kind of like it,
Okay. I thought his
But-
was a little bit later in the run. Okay.
It says right here, Bill. It says his name's right here
Yeah, Bill. Bill did it.
on the label.
Willie Sink. The only other one I had was War is Hell #9. I don't know why this is going so crazy at the
It's an
moment.
awesome cover.
Yeah, but I mean, there's absolutely no reason for this to be jumping up. The recent sale was $900. There was 3 sales. It seems like one person was buying them by the way that they sold. I don't know if it was on some other YouTube thing or something, but all in the past 2 weeks, we'll say $775. Then one sold for $517. Then this one for $900. And there's only 8 on the census, and 3 have sold in the past 2 weeks. So someone could be trying to corner the market for no reason. Only 7% of those graded are 9.8, so it's really low number. But when you drop down between like 8.5 and 9.6, it only moves about $20 per grade. So this one is obviously the one to have. Lower grades are not really doing anything. I don't know. It seems weird to me, but who knows?
Bananas. Yeah, that's a crazy price, dude.
I think at this point, if you remember back, and I only know this from collecting war books because that's really what got me into the Kubert runs and stuff.
Mhm.
There were a lot of them that came out around in the 70s.
Mhm.
There were a lot that came out. So I think that this one might have just gone lost under the track, and that's why it's harder to find in high grade because when it came out, there were so many that people were just like, why would I want
No
this?
doubt. No doubt.
So-
And at the time, and this book is popular because it's the first Marvel iteration of Death, correct?
I'm not sure.
You
Yeah.
can see him. You can see him right there on the cover. Now there's
He.
yeah, and there's other things you could say. Like
They.
this is not the same Death as as Thanos love Death. So you can put those two next to each other. But who the hell
Yeah,
cared
I've seen
about?
people plugging this, and I don't know why. Somebody
Who the
plugged
hell
it, I
cares
can't
about
remember.
like the first appearance of Death in Marvel Comics? Doesn't
Maybe
mean
it's
anything,
important
really.
for the COVID-19.
Oh shit!
Like-
Like I said, it's only been in the
I got
past
a
2
little-
weeks. That's
I've got a
eerie.
little mental disease. I would like Death, the first appearance of Death.
Yeah, that's a little eerie.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but I'll
So that's all I
pass.
got.
Good shit.
Yeah, I mean that was good, but doesn't that bring us into sleepy speculation, good versus bad?
Very nice.
Yeah, so I'm going to keep building on these Star Wars ones. And last week we talked about a couple Star Wars. I'm not by no means a Star Wars aficionado. I lean on my my friends, and especially the Enforcer, and what I can find online by Googling, because so much content out there that I can't read it all. But one character that I want to talk about this week is Cad Bane, who is a bounty hunter. I think the bounty hunters are going to become slowly and slowly and slowly, they're going to become more part of the comic culture of Star Wars. They're very popular in terms of animated series and the novels and the Dark Horse comics and books and whatnot. But comic books and Star Wars don't often relate to a lot of money unless you have very specific issues. So Cad Bane is a bounty hunter who is very popular because of his appearance in the Clone Wars, and he's got a very minimal amount of comic book or print material. This picture here, you can see him holding a holocron, which we talked about a few weeks back with the new Star Wars. What's it called, Jimmy? Knights of the Empire or something?
Yeah, some new character or something. I don't know.
So there's multiple holocrons, but you can see if he was able to get one, he must be kind of important. So his first like print appearance is this Star Wars Insider Magazine number 103. And then the one on the right with his name is 111, which came out in September 29. Again, we've talked about these Insider magazines. They're real hard to find. They're not really comic books. Cool things to have for Star Wars, but we're on a comic book podcast. We want to talk about comic books. His first print is Darth Maul number 2. Now, this book has been getting some attention just for the fact that Star Wars seems to be the one thing that is slowly rolling through comic book speculation and keeping the wheels turning, because The Mandalorian is still kind of in the works. You know, we talked about Ahsoka Tano and some other related characters. So one other one could be somebody like Cad Bane. There's the first print. There's a second print with the same cover, a little bit different tone. There is a one of those like classic cover variants that they did for a lot of Star Wars books. And then there's this 1 in 50 David Aja variant, which is probably going to be a beast if Cad Bane ever even sniffs any type of movie or TV role. I tried to buy this book like a couple weeks ago, and I made a sale for it, and then the seller said they couldn't find it, surprisingly. So I think this is a book to look for. It kind of reminds me of the Daredevil 111 first Lady Daredevil, Lady
Hawk something, no? Dead?
No.
What's Bullseye? Lady Bullseye.
Lady Bullseye. Thank you.
I was thinking Hawkeye.
Yeah. Lady Bullseye. 1 in 50 David Aja, same artist. I don't like this cover as much, but same kind of theme. He's always got the same kind of stroke and subject. So those are two to look for. I think they'll be coming. As I said, they're already starting to go up, so maybe keep an eye out for those. And another one to maybe look out for, which I think is a pretty cool cover. This is him on the cover of Star Wars 55. This was part of the Galactic Icons variants that they did. I believe these were unlock ratio variants. Yeah. I don't think they were just like you can get them 1 for 1, but they weren't like a 1 in 10 or a an unlock a what do you call it?
You had to order a certain amount of the regular
variants.
To be able to order any copies of these.
Plateau variants, so they weren't ratios. So this is Star Wars 55, the variant for that. It's a cool character. It's very, very beloved in the current Star Wars realm. So something to look out for. I got a couple more things I want to talk about in Star Wars, but I'm going to save them for the weeks coming up. Like I said, I think the bounty hunter characters could be good. We know they already got the series going on with some characters, so it's just some stuff to keep in the back pocket for the future. So moving on,
Well, now we're on
Thanks.
the rumor mill. Are you ready for our rumor mill?
Yeah, let's do it.
Young Avengers is apparently in active development.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So that's the rumor. It seems to be majorly. It's a major rumor. It's just, there's nothing that's been come out that it's officially confirmed. But this comes from a source that we've used in the past that has been pretty right on a lot of things. And I went back and looked when we first talked about Young Avengers, and it was episode number 12 from July of last year, a little bit under a year ago. And it was interesting to look back at it. Go back and if you got 10 minutes, just go through and scroll through it real quick because it's funny to watch it. We didn't have the graphics back then. We were just talking off the cuff. It was funny because I didn't even remember. I figured by 12 we at least had some graphics and such, but we were just basically talking back and forth the whole time.
Jimmy's laughing with no camera.
It's not my fault, okay?
And so what we talked about on that podcast was some rumored Phase 4 developments at the time. They were listed here. We had Moon Knight, since been confirmed. Young Avengers. Now I will say, when we talked about Young Avengers at that time, it was either going to be Young Avengers or Dark Avengers. And we mentioned both. And Dark Avengers could still happen, but Young Avengers has been confirmed. We also talked about Miss Marvel, which has been confirmed. And then 2 other properties. Sentry, which I think will eventually roll into something. And I don't know if it'll be an appearance in a movie or TV show.
He's got one story, though, right? Isn't that like one season of TV and he's done?
He's got
It's a good one. Like, it's a good story.
But his original series
was so good.
That would be an amazing 6-episode TV show.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. But they would have to bring in that won't happen, I don't believe. If they were to do something like that, they wouldn't do it until they brought Fantastic Four in, which they now own. Right. Because they all somewhat tie together. So that could be a really cool show. And then the other one was Sentry's kind of like a Superman, more or less, in the Marvel universe. And then the other one's Marvel Knights, which at the time when we talked about it, it made a lot of sense. I don't know if today it does, because it was basically based around the dissolution of Netflix, Punisher, Daredevil, some of those characters, some of the other characters that they could tie in, like Blade, Moon Knight, etc. So at the time, it made a lot of sense.
It kind of happened, though, right?
Well, it could still happen too. I'm just not as heavy on it as I was at the time. At the time, I remember I bought a couple issues of the first Marvel Knights, thinking, this makes a lot of sense.
Blade got announced after this.
Blade was announced after that. Moon Knight was announced after that.
They don't have the rights to Punisher or Daredevil. Not yet. They're like in limbo or whatever.
Coming. Yeah, they will be.
So, it kind of happened.
I don't know. I just don't know what format they would do it in.
Yeah.
If it would be a TV show or a movie. So
the problem with Young Avengers books is, I don't know where you buy in. Like, there's so many copies of that Young Avengers one. The only one that I like, CGC still hasn't split the census to tell you, like, because I thought it was impossible to get a 9.8. I thought we were going to get a scenario like we did with, 8 out of 10 books that you talk about on the one segment you do, like banging 9.8s is what we could call it.
Yeah, right.
Just because of the way they packaged it in that toy, and now it's like CGC doesn't split the census, so thanks.
They don't have. Well, they probably have it listed because it's really a second print or something. So it's listed.
Yeah, but they don't do that
as a different year.
No,
I remember looking that up before, and I can't recall what the results of my search on it were. Yeah, there's the Young Avengers one that came packed in Marvel Legends toy series with 4 characters, I believe. So it was a bigger box.
Yeah,
like the buy-in was like $60 right out the gate. than the comics in there. And getting a 9/8 out of that is
because they had it
ridiculous.
wedged. You know what I mean? You like need the.
It's in the back of it,
like,
but the whole box is just cardboard. Like I could just take it and twist it, and then the comic spine is ruined basically.
Right.
Whereas,
all you do is kind of grab it, and it's like
whereas
it's the Game Busters.
Yeah, like the Say Spider-Man 2099. It's just back with a bubble on it. Yeah, exactly.
That one. Yeah. So it's not cool like that.
You could ruin.
We didn't plan that for the record.
If you really tried to like bend that backing, you could ruin it. But the Young Avengers one's in a big box, which is not. It's not built for stability. So anything that relies
it's
on
loose in the box, right? Like it can move from one corner to the other.
I don't think it's completely loose. I thought it was in like a
one.
I've never opened. No, the Young Avengers one though. I didn't study it that well. Years ago I wanted to buy one, and they were always around $50, and I was like, I don't think I want to buy it. And never did. I don't think it's loose in there, but it could be.
Now the sketch variant, a lot of those
the
were
director's
signed.
cut.
No,
the Wizard World.
The ones that were CGC graded and they were 9.5s, and it was the first 9.5.
Yeah,
that's nonsense.
I mean,
there's just
9.5s that.
Now, what do you guys think about Stature? Like the rumors that I'm hearing are that they're gonna introduce Stature in a big way in the Ant-Man sequel. That stuff's percolating again. I mean, these are all like recycled rumors.
But she's been 3 characters. If you remember about a year and a half ago, there was her newer iteration that was getting floated pretty hard into speculation corridors, which was a newer Astonishing Ant-Man book where she's on the cover and she's big and like her foot's coming down. I forget what her character name was.
Yeah, that one's Stature. But I don't remember what's the other.
No. This was a first appearance that's only like 2 years old. Maybe 3, something like that.
Oh,
Cassie Lang is who you're talking about. She's been 3 different characters, and why?
I mean, the suggestion is they do Kang.
I bet Gary knows it
in that book or that movie rather.
Absolutely. If you ever read Young Avengers, he's integral to the whole.
No, that they introduced him initially in that Ant-Man with Cassie Lang, whatever iteration. And then roll that into a Young Avengers, like TV show or movie with Kang
the
proper.
Next Ant-Man movie. You're saying?
Yeah. That's what I'm. That's what I mean. Again, I'm just repeating what's in the rumor mill, right? As they say they're going to do Kang and Loki. Then the next one is they'll have him there with those 3 characters, and that will roll into like Young Avengers.
Oh, Kang would be in.
That's
Loki.
A long time.
Gotcha.
Well, that they would set the stage for him, maybe have him like the post-credit, last person on the last scene on the TV show, roll that into the film, the Ant-Man Part 3, and then into Young Avengers with, Hawkeye and Lady Hawk, whatever her name is, Kate Bishop.
Yeah.
Probably not PC to call her Lady Hawkeye. I don't know, but I'm not really excited about any of that. I mean,
I think Loki's going to be fun.
I'm excited about Blade. I think Loki's going to be fun, but not for Kang Young Avengers reasons. I hope that the Fraction run is what they do for the Hawkeye TV show. I'd be excited about that, but it's hard for me to get excited about Ant-Man. I think that's why they want to like step it up.
That's what I say
Thoughts,
every time I sit down to watch an Ant-Man movie, I'm like, why do I even want to watch this? Like, I have no interest in Ant-Man. And then I'm like, oh yeah, Paul Rudd's in it. Yeah, it's amazing.
Wait, that convinces you to watch a movie?
Fuck yeah. Paul Rudd is amazing.
Yeah, Paul Rudd's good.
Have you ever seen Tane?
No.
From Tim and Eric? Tane?
No.
Well, it's the best Paul Rudd skit ever. And also,
he's had some good movies. I mean, that Sean William Scott one with McLovin is good. I can't remember what it's called, but where he has they take care of them or something or whatever.
With Jonah Hill.
Maybe, perhaps.
Oh, it's not
No, I don't think
it's
Jonah
not the
Hill's in that
actual
one actually.
McLovin one you're saying.
No, but he's had some good movies. I just don't think that like there's anything that would really make me watch it. I don't know. I'm not really an MCU guy. I don't
Do you
really
ever
care about
see
any of
when
those
he's
movies.
on when Paul Rudd is on Jimmy Fallon doing an interview, and they say, "Oh, do you have a clip of your new movie?" And he says, "Yes, let me cue it up for you." And then they put up the movie clip, and it's the scene of Mac and Me, the movie, where a kid in a wheelchair is going over a cliff every
No,
time. Yeah,
no,
Jesus
yeah,
I don't
Lord.
watch Jimmy Fallon.
and
Very dark.
he did it like 2 times, and then Jimmy Fallon goes, if you do this to me again this time, I am gonna stop inviting you on." And he's like, "No, I didn't do it this time because my agent said if I do this again, he's gonna let me go." So yeah, here we have a clip from Ant-Man, and then it's the kid rolling in the wheelchair again. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, just YouTube it. It's great.
Wow, it's dark. It's
Well,
really dark.
what movie has a kid rolling in a wheelchair off a cliff?
I mean, I'm sure they exist. I watched Seven Ninjas. I had the Seven Ninja
Oh no.
VHS. Have you seen the movie Seven Ninjas?
I've seen
No,
Three
no,
Ninjas with the
no.
kids.
So Seven Ninjas is all kids. They're all kids. One of them is named Rambo, but he always dresses up as or no, sorry, his name's Rocky, but he always dresses up as Rambo. I don't know. I somebody came and picked it up and bought it off me before I could finish watching it, but it was amazing. That's my question. That's all I have to say. It's yeah, that's it.
I think Gary nailed it. He got Rudd rolled.
Yeah.
You heard getting Rick rolled before. Get Rudd rolled. Yeah.
But I think that's all we had for this week. Am
That's
I
it.
wrong?
Huh?
Do we have other stuff we wanted to talk about?
No, I'm surprised we went this long talking about comics. Well, 25 minutes of it was getting everybody on the same screen.
Oh, you guys did a good job. I listened to all of it on my cell phone. That's why I was trying to do that. Yeah, good.
I want to thank everybody that's been watching. Blind Adam, Gary, TJ Time Bomb. Who else we got out there?
We got Dennis Hayes, Life of Agony.
Dennis
Oh
Hopper.
yeah, Life of Agony. Good listener.
Discovery
Dennis,
Bay Comics.
Good listener.
We're going through all of them. Okay.
Yeah. Because we got like 4 fans that talk, and it makes me happy. There's the Enforcer. Yeah. Every time I say that, I always think about, do you want to fuck on him, Berserker? It's like, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's weird, man.
Wolf Warner. He was here
What
and
the
gone.
hell? Gary asked, "Why have I put the girlfriend during the pandemic? I haven't seen her."
Oh yeah, see, I didn't.
That's
we weren't
rude,
talking
Gary.
because
That's rude, Gary.
Earlier this week, John
that's his
said
fiance?
John said he went to a car dealership. He said, "Yeah, I'm sorry, I couldn't answer the phone. I was at the car dealership." And my response was, "Oh, you're buying a minivan, moving on up." And then he seemed like really upset. So that's why I didn't. That's why we didn't bring it up this week. Okay. So listen, all I'm saying is it's a delicate spot. Okay. I don't know if he bought the minivan. I don't think he did because again, he got really offended by it. So let's not talk about it too much. Okay.
She cares about him though. I think they have a beautiful relationship.
I'm just saying, if I bought a minivan, Jimmy might move to the U.S. and live in the back of it.
Good point.
I mean, do you live near a river?
So it's not the minivan down by the river. It's just the van down by the river.
Yeah, but like minivan, van, it's the same thing.
I live by a stinky canal. Would that work? I think it works. Beggars can't be choosers. Beggars can't be choosers.
We'll catch you guys next week. Same place, same time, probably. We might not.
I'll get a porthole window cut out. And just be a circle window for you to look out.
Can we get it painted? Like you gotta buy a minivan and then get it like.
Maybe Mike Ruth could paint it.
What? How do airbrush it? Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. We airbrush it. Not a wizard though. It has to be something really lame, like way lamer than a wizard.
Animosity cover.
I would say the cover of any VHS tape that you watch would suffice.
That's kind of rude.
Seven Ninjas.
Seven Ninjas has an amazing cover, by the way. Why would I watch Sword?
I was gonna say
whatever fucking thing with children, and there was like an '80s
like
woman
a big
with a Karen haircut.
Like
yeah.
a big
No, we're talking-
wide-shouldered Harambe.
First of all, that movie was called
Harambe.
Storybook, and that movie was
Oh.
amazing. Okay, so whatever. There was
Who
a
did it star,
lumberjack and
Jimmy?
a kangaroo. Oh, nobody's.
No, who was the woman? You knew her by name.
Oh, she looked like Kellyanne Conway. What do you mean? What are you looking at me like? What? You're getting all mad at me because I know. Okay,
I'm not
listen.
mad. I'm just laying the facts out. Sorcerer in the Karen
What?
or something. I don't know.
It was called Storybook. Good luck finding that.
Storybook.
Good luck finding a copy of that on VHS or a copy of that anywhere. Good luck with that. Okay, we'll catch you guys next week. Goodbye now.
You did good, Jimmy. Good job.